Hello, Paul Long, SBA lending manager for Gesa Credit Union, and I am joined by the most amazing.
Business broker, Seth Rudin from IBA. Thank you.
We, in this video, are going to talk about financing a professional services firm. And the reason why we're getting so specific on this is professional services firms are very different than, I don't know, a retail or a retail or something, a wholesale, all that. It's very different. So the first and foremost is, depending on the type of business, the industry, etc., there could be a lot of goodwill that's based in this. So sometimes purchase prices can be pretty substantial with not very much fixed assets there on there. So we're really going to be looking for an experienced buyer, borrower to really take over this business because they need to have the expertise. So expertise is really important on a professional
Or an established team.
or an established. That's true.
You know,
As a manager, maybe some contracts, something to really keep them together. Very good point.
Very good. And the next thing we're going to look at are, what they're buying. They're buying contracts. They're buying a diversity of clients. We got historical cash flows. They're taking over, like Paul said, an intangible business. They're providing some knowledge in their service and their consulting. So we want to make sure that if 80% is to one customer, probably going to be a problem, because if they don't like Paul as the buyer and they leave, then I overpaid by 80% in a very extreme, example.
That's correct.
Top customer 10 analysis is going to be critical in that discussion, and making sure that the consistency of cash flows over the years, it looks to be solid.
Sorry, go ahead.
The next one, we're fighting for topics here because we love each other.
That's all right.
We call it WIP. When we do the sale after we value the company and we're going to close on the business, one thing that gets wrangled up is called WIP. WIP means work in process. So I'm doing a consulting project and we're going to close in the middle of it. Well, we need to reward the seller for the time and effort that person's put into place, as well as for generating the sale. Acquiring a new customer, acquiring a new project doesn't come for free. And then the buyer obviously is going to take over. In some cases, the seller might stay on and finish out the project completely, and it's not a discussion point. In other times, they'll do this accounting, if you will, to figure it out. Thank you.
Yep. It's really hard if you have multiple clients. Let's say you have 20 different things going on, you're not all going to stop at the same time just so the sale can go through. That's a great example. The seller definitely gets some benefit on that. Next is working capital needs. These types of professional services definitely need working capital. You probably need a line of credit based on the payment terms of your clients. How do your clients pay you? Is it cash up front? Well, probably not for a professional services firm, but if so, then you probably don't need a line. But for the most part, lines of credit are a big, important thing for professional services firms.
And I like to look at days sales outstanding. So taking the accounts receivable by the average daily sale gives you a number.
Yep.
Hopefully 30 days. And then you know that you get your accounts receivable back within 30-day period. But if you have a lot of federal contracts or large construction companies, then you might see 60 to 120 days potentially in those scenarios.
You got retentions, like there's a lot that can go into those.
Mm-hmm. And then we want to talk about key employees. The founders of these companies who are selling most likely for retirement purposes are going to leave. They're going to give you a transition, but you want to make sure if they have key employees that they stay, or you've thought through a retention plan to keep them just as excited, under the new management as they were under the old management, and that you can take advantage of the substantial investment you're about to make.
Lenders are going to want to know that the brains of the operation stay. Very important.
Exactly. And then we have scalability and future growth. You're buying a business, in my mind, and we've talked about this on other videos, on what it is that you're buying today as is, and what you as the new buyer can make it be. Right. So what are the levers you can take advantage of after you've learned the business? You don't do any harm, say for 12 months. and now you're going to start to grow this business. You need a great salesperson like a Paul Long or Seth on your team to scale and grow your business, because most small businesses that are out there don't have a sales team, and that's their fuel for growth. Or they're paying too much in IT costs because they don't know the new technologies that exist that can
That's
minimize
true.
the costs and all the operational expenses that you might go and attack to get more margin out of the business. And these are the things you have to be aware of to make it more efficient.
That's true. Especially with professional services firm, pricing can be all around the board for that. The biggest thing is if you ever watch Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful doesn't buy businesses based on future cash flow. It's what is it right now. So we're going to price, a business based on the historical cash flow, and making sure that we understand the ups and downs that are in professional services, because it is, it's like a heartbeat monitor. It can be crazy depending on the types of industry. So really being aware of that is critical piece.
And everything you're looking at, the why is important. Why are the sellers leaving? Are they leaving because they want to retire and exit? Are they working two jobs? Maybe they're a professor and they're working on this role here. Are they leaving because they're overwhelmed and they're stressed? Hopefully they're doing it for the first two reasons. And then sometimes just the 8-year itch, it does apply for businesses that people after a while, they want to test themselves in something else after doing it for a long time.
True.
The next thing is sometimes you'll find a buyer that is actually out of the country, right? And so I actually have one of these issues. He's trying to get a SBA loan and can't because of his residence status and how he or she wants to approach it. Yeah. And so now they need to go raise money through their investment community in order to acquire a business, if that's what the person's going to do. So there are solutions for it. You can buy a business if you're out of the country, and there are special immigration attorneys who focus on business acquisitions, who know how to get you through the process. And both Paul and I have that Rolodex to help buyers get through that.
Yep.
Lastly, we have licensing requirements. If Paul wanted to buy an architect firm or an engineering firm, he probably can't do it himself, but he can actually buy it. The state will allow him to do it. He just needs to appoint a member of his team who have the credentials as either a professional engineering license, a PE, or an architect designation on the state's records. And then he can buy the company. He doesn't have to share any ownership with them. It would behoove him not to give a nice employer agreement contract with the retention policy to that person.
Oh yeah.
But these are important to understand. If it's a specialized company that requires licensing and if you're buying an architect firm and you're an architect, no big deal. But if know that it's a great cash flowing business and you're a businessman or woman, then you want to make sure you understand how you're going to navigate that risk.
And again, as we've said in our previous videos, it's about experience, and having somebody like Seth on your side to guide you through this is critical to the success of you owning that business. So make sure you reach out to Seth, who's very qualified on professional services firms, and can get that done.
But it takes a banker to get me the money, so we need.
That's true. Without me, you got nothing. Well, thanks everyone for watching. And we will see you on another video.
Thank you.